More than 30,000 cars pass Old Lick Cemetery every day. But for decades, the wooded hillside near Interstate 581 was a mystery to many in Western Virginia. Darnell Wood grew up nearby.
And I had walked by this cemetery many times in my youth, coming from the Lincoln Terrace area, going to the old Sears and Roebuck. Never knew African Americans were buried here. All I saw was a dilapidated cemetery that needed cleaning up.
Today, that dilapidated cemetery that needed cleaning up is getting the attention it deserves. One Saturday a month, weather permitting, dedicated volunteers fan out across the property to reclaim the headstones and the history they represent from the bushes, trees, and vines that had overtaken the cemetery.
Can I ask you what it's like working in this thicket?
Well, for the most part, it's not too bad, except when you run into these with the nice little thorns on them.
Last spring, we found Matt Elliott in a tangle of vines, but he told us the work has been satisfying.
When I first started, it was clear over the other side where this is all bare ground now. This is all stuff that I've been a part of help clearing. So to me, that's pretty awesome.
So like there's stones all through this thicket, right?
Yes.
Ellen Stick was an educator with Roanoke City Public Schools in 2019 when she envisioned a project to get social studies teachers involved in the community. With each visit, the Friends of Old Lick Cemetery reveal more of the memorials, and every headstone has a story.
We actually have a photograph of Ellen Banks. Her lifespan began at the culmination of the Civil War and carried through World War II. So as a teacher, and I'm always a teacher, there's a lot to discuss.
And the history doesn't end at the hillside overlooking the interstate.
These cars are the first to move along a newly opened section of Interstate Spur 581.
A portion of the cemetery owned by the city of Roanoke stood in the way of Interstate 581. More than 900 graves were moved to the city cemetery at Coiner Springs. Joe Cobb was attending a memorial service there 20 years ago when he first saw a stone monument marking the area where the remains were relocated.
And that really was mysterious to me and intriguing.
Now Roanoke's vice mayor, Cobb recently completed his doctoral dissertation honoring their breaths that focuses on the connection between the two cemeteries.
And I began to imagine the stories of the people who were buried here and the stones that had been consumed by nature, and what would it be like to begin to uncover those stories and to breathe new life into them.
Today the work continues at Old Lick Cemetery. Soon there will be a sign with a brief history and links to online resources where people can learn more. Plans for a more accessible trail are taking shape. A fundraising campaign will pay for new fencing, and there's hope that one day a small parking lot will help people access the area. Darnell Wood says it's important work.
But we need to keep this part of Roanoke alive, keep the history alive, and let people know.
In Roanoke, Joe DeShiel, WDBJ 7.